Season 2 of Strange New Worlds is back, and I am here, back again with my review for you of this episode, the very first episode, entitled Broken Circle. Somebody is stealing the Enterprise. Let's get into it. So welcome back to the channel, everyone, and welcome here. Yes, fantastic that Star Trek Strange New Worlds is back on. I adored season 1. It was Star Trek back on form. So how does this first episode of Strange New Worlds season 2 hold up? Well, firstly, let's eject Anson Mount, Captain Christopher Pike, out of the airlock and get rid of him for this episode. That is right, yes. Anson Mount hasn't got a major role in this episode whatsoever. He is only at the start of the episode, because obviously coming off of season 1, as we know that Una Chin Riley, his number 1, she's been arrested and taken into custody because she lied on her Starfleet application about what she was, who she is. And Pike has to go off on this little side adventure, a side quest that we see nothing about yet, trying to get some help for her, essentially. So it's left to Spock to captain the Enterprise. Only the Enterprise is actually in space dock, and Pike will only be gone for maybe 3-4 days, hardly any time whatsoever. But whilst they're in space dock and while the Enterprise is being assessed, shall we say, the crew get a call. They get an emergency message off of Noonien Singh. Yes, as you remember, in the last series, she left. She went off to do her own thing for a short amount of time. Now we've come to find out that maybe about 5 months have passed since then to now, since the end of the last season. And she's actually on this planet, Kajatar 4, which is a mining planet on the edge of Klingon space. Obviously, tensions are high between Starfleet and Klingons because of the war that has come to an end. And this mining planet is actually shared by both. But there's a written thing in place where basically 30 days, the Klingons have it, 30 days we have it, Starfleet has it, to mine dilithium. Yeah, so while this is all going on, Spock requests that he go and assist with her, but this request gets denied and thusly sees him having to steal the Enterprise. And we're introduced to this character called Pelia, played by Carol Kane, who you may remember from films such as Scrooged and things like that. I don't know, I find her quite an annoying actress, I'll be honest, so it was a bit difficult to grasp her. But luckily she's sort of ejected as well. She's there at the start and at the end of the episode. So they have to go off on this mission to help out Noonien Singh. And while there, there's this plot about reigniting the Klingon war. There's a fake Federation vessel, or there's a vessel there. It looks much like the Discovery. It's got the ring with the gap in the middle. It's sort of a design of that ilk. And this vessel, which is not in Federation control, is going to be used to restart a war and all this sort of nonsense. I say nonsense is the wrong word to say. But while we're there, obviously Nurse Chapel and Dr. Mbenga, they get drawn into helping this underground movement, medically so, and stuff goes on then. You know, they have to assist in them with their medical needs, but at the same time they then take this super soldier serum to fight them off and try and stop what's going on. Spock is back on the Enterprise. He's got to make a decision as to whether to destroy the ship with them two on before he can start a war with Klingons, and all this sort of stuff is going on in the ilk. So that's a rundown of the episode, of the story and all this sort of a thing. So what did I think? Well, Firstly, it's great having Star Trek back on, and has it been that long? It hasn't been a year. I know that it seems to come around pretty damn fast these seasons, but that's not a bad thing. I was a bit upset, shall we say, that Anson Mount was sort of sidelined in this episode, because for me he's one of the primary draws for the show. But that being said, this episode gave a lot of the other characters some fantastic stuff to do, primarily Spock, Nurse Chapel, and Dr. Mbenga. Yes, these three characters certainly made use of their time with the lack of Anson Mount. Spock is going through a lot of emotional distress in this episode, because in fighting the Gorn, when he released his anger, he's opened up his emotions, and we do see a more emotional Spock in this, and the relationship between him and Nurse Chapel has obviously bloomed somewhat in this time that we've not seen them. He shows a lot of care for her. Yeah, his heart rate rising at one point, how emotional he is that he's got a fire upon the ship, and then at the end when, you know, these characters are rescued but they're frozen, he's got to perform CPR to try and bring her back to life, and this sort of thing. A lot of fantastic stuff going on. We are given snippets of a potential war happening, stuff with the Gorn going on by the end of the episode, which kind of leads into everything else. You know, all in all, this it's a fine opening episode. Like I said, I found Carol Kane somewhat annoying in her performance. I find her a very difficult actress to watch, but that's just a personal take from me. Other characters, you know, Noonien Singh, Noonien Singh, she gets some stuff to do because obviously she's brought back into the fray. Who else is there? Uhura and Ortegas. They don't get a great deal to do. There's a small amount of stuff for them, but nothing that really affects the plot in too much of a major way. We get a little bit of humour. Spock's first time in the chair, getting to say what he says, you know, make it so, hit it, whatever it may be. I want this ship to go now, is his, you know, his let's get the ship going. But I'm sure that will change as time goes on. Yeah, decent episode. Some good special effects, which is to be expected. A lot of money put into these shows. There's a decent a story there within, decent snippets of what's to come, breadcrumbs laid, stuff like that, and yeah, a fine continuation of the series thusly this far. So there we go. Down below, let me know your thoughts on this episode. What did you think of it? Well, you know, let me know. Let's talk Star Trek, and I will be back on a weekly basis reviewing this series. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, to keep you apprised of my uploads and when they come. This is AJ. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you all later. Take care and goodbye.